So, I've had this idea for a while on how to tax people in a way that most Americans are comfortable with. They have very short attention spans, and you're not going to be able to tell them flat out that in order to get rid of the deficit, or at least lower it to substantial levels that are tolerable and won't collapse the economy and ruin the complete value of the dollar, you're going to have to tax everybody. You're going to especially have to tax the rich, but you may even have to tax the poor. And that's something people don't want to hear. So you're going to have to think of more creative ways to tax people. And, like I said, I've had this idea for a while, but I wanted to think of the best way to execute this idea, to tell it to you. And as I was watching the Democratic National Convention today, I nearly blew a gasket at this one guy. I don't even remember his name, but he said at least 50 times, that dog ain't gonna hunt, or some shit like that. And I was just left with this idea in my mind of what the fuck does that even mean? A dog ain't gonna hunt? Of course not. It's a fucking old ass dog that is lazy and stupid. Of course it's not gonna hunt. What the fuck are you talking about? That dog ain't gonna hunt. Get to the fucking point. But, that's how Americans are. They want to hear buzzwords. They want to hear slogans. They want two-syllable party names and everything like that. So you can't just talk about the issues in a serious and intelligent manner. So if you want to tax people, if you really want to help the economy, make it into a reality TV show. That's how you get people to back up taxation. My idea is that you get 3 of the biggest douchebags you can find. Just draft a bunch of assholes of different income levels, but preferably of higher income so they have more to give, obviously, and call the show Scumbag Steve. Put it on PBS since it's about taxation and that's the public broadcasting station. So PBS will have its first ever reality TV show, Scumbag Steve. And they will follow these assholes around, maybe have them live together, something like that. And you can see just what pieces of shit there are living in the United States. And among these pieces of shit, you call in or Twitter or whatever to vote on which scumbag Steve should have to pay a fine, have to pay some kind of tax because he's such a goddamn douchebag. And that'll be every season. Every season, you get a bunch of pieces of shit together, and you choose the biggest douchebag in the room, and that's the person who has to help pay off the national deficit. I believe that would be perfect. It would satisfy America's need for immediate entertainment and distraction. You could still tax the people, and they could feel like they're participating and have some kind of vote, even though they really don't. So, see, it's the best of all worlds. And not only will they generate revenue from taxing the scumbag Steve, but they will also generate revenue because this would be an amazing show. And all kinds of big corporations are going to advertise for it. You're going to see fucking McDonald's ads. And there's going to be scumbag Steve pictures on their fucking McDonald's bags. And Pepsi and Coca-Cola and everything else is going to want to get in on this. And that's going to generate more revenue for the government. And there you go. You just solved that problem. Well, maybe you didn't really solve it, but you at least made it a little better. And in some ways, you're catering to the bigger problem that is America's pride in their own stupidity and consumerism and the very cancer that is destroying this empire. But hey, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm just giving you an idea. So think about that. Tell me what you think. See you later.